Looking at the energy industries in Europe, I would say that the two main issues to be considered, and they are acting together, are first, obviously, the impact of the economic crisis that deep affecting the level of demand, with a fall in demand in gas that is very pronounced, and a relevant impact also on the demand for electricity. And on the other, the impact of the huge subsidy to renewables that in the last 3 or 4 years changed dramatically the landscape of the electricity industry, and obviously then with a reflect on the gas industry as one of the possible sources for power plants. The policy today needs to address several issues. One is for sure to cope with the deep imbalance that we observe in an electricity market today, with the gas-fired plants that are working at very low capacity rate, but that are needed as backup capacity. Overall, if you look at the equilibrium of the system, a strong increase in the production of electricity from renewables, a change in the pattern of prices with the smoothing of the peak hours price, and a slight increase in the evening prices, so that the overall the pattern is less variable, and these issues basically pose a problem of economic sustainability for gas-fired plants that may require to introduce capacity payment mechanisms of some sort. There is an issue in other European countries, as in the German market, of very low coal prices that are determined by the overall international pricing on coal and the impact of shale gas in the US, but also on the very low price of emissions in present days. So these are several effects that, compared with the original market design in the electricity market, pose questions of coherency and sustainability of the agents. Then for the gas industry, we have a good development of European gas hubs, but a strong problem referred to the divergence of oil indexes price for long-term contracts compared to the hub prices. Today, the difference is in favor of gas hub prices, but in general, the issue is that the mechanism to form prices is pretty different in long-term contracts versus market-based pricing, and that again is something that must be addressed. Well, in Europe we have the coexistence of two very different price mechanisms. One that is in a sense inherited from the pre-liberalization world, which is based on long-term contracts where there are rigidities both on the price side, that is, prices are fixed according to a formula that is indexed to a bundle of alternative fuels, basically based on oil products. And there are also rigidities in terms of quantities due to the take-or-pay clauses. This is something that made sense in a pre-liberalization world where the national champions control final demand, and there was a pass-through possibly of prices into final users, much less today, in which liberalization fragmented the national market structures, and in which no individual firms now has a control of final demand comparable to the pre-liberalization world. On the other hand, liberalization also promoted indirectly the emergence of gas hubs, because now there is, with more agents dealing with suppliers upstreams, there is a problem of balancing that must be addressed through a wholesale transaction, and that led to the starting point of wholesale trade at the European level. And regulation adapted and made market transaction more feasible, and today gas hubs developed quite a lot, and now they have both volumes traded and also the development of financial instruments to cover the price risk. This is a market mechanism based on demand and supply tensions that may lead to very different price compared to the long-term contract, as long as the market fundamentals for oil that are translated into the indexation of long-term contract prices diverge from the fundamentals of gas markets, which is what is occurring today. So today we have these two mechanisms that coexist. It's hard for operators that are committed to long-term contracts to compete with other firms that can provide and buy gas at different terms on the gas hubs. That has led to a series of renegotiations and arbitration. I think that the pattern is towards aligning more long-term contract pricing to gas hub pricing, but it will take time. I would say that regulation made a lot in this perspective. They address properly all the mechanisms that must be addressed so that a wholesale gas market can develop. They are referred to fixing rules for balancing, rules for defining which are the market perimeter and therefore the kind of transaction that can be run within the market, and they addressed also issues of transparency that makes information circulating and therefore ease the development of wholesale transactions. So I think that the setup of the regulatory rules for development of wholesale transaction has been almost done, and I mean there is a general regulation by the Commission that then has been adopted with a fundamental convergence of the different wholesale markets toward very similar schemes, and we have observed indeed that these rules are quite positive to development of wholesale trade. What perhaps indirectly affects the development of wholesale trades is then regulation that can favor the construction and opening of international interconnection within Europe, that therefore make the different gas hubs closer and more interdependent. We have observed, for instance, in Italy, that once the usage of the north-south, Central Europe to Italy international gas pipeline entering at Passo Gries to Italy has been freed up in terms of rules and capacity allocation, then also the PVS price, the Italian hub gas price, has aligned much more to the TTN price, which is the reference price for Central Europe. So interconnection is the other condition so that we have a unique wholesale market throughout Europe.